right, hey guys, welcome to the second-ish to the Maverick Sports app fantasy football podcast. So I'm your host, Chris Stegman, and I have with me Rubio, who will be playing in his first fantasy football league. So he's going to be a plethora of knowledge and advice based on his previous seasons, which is 0. And then we have Allison Claycomb coming to us from the great state of Kentucky. That's also going to talk a little bit of fantasy football. I think Allison's in her first fantasy football season too, correct?
It is. It's my first. I'm just here for the trash talking.
Absolutely. So, and we actually are going to have a fantasy football league that for Maverick. It'll be a Maverick Sports App Fantasy Football League. So we'll have a regular, different guests on every week that will talk about what happened each week, and there will definitely be some smack talk. So, we're going to go ahead and get started, but let me first thank our sponsor, again, Maverick Sports App, where you can download the Maverick Sports App today and get $300 up to $300 match on your first deposit. So with that, we are going to jump right into it. So Danny, what do you know about fantasy football, and what do you want to gain from this show today?
Wonderful. All right, so what I know about fantasy football is the fact...
You think you know about football first? Let's ask that.
Yes, I know about football, Chris.
Football, not football. I just want to make sure.
I know. Hey, I know about the real football, which is soccer, and then I know about American football. I was in the marching band. I went to every home game during college. We're gonna go.
Didn't you guys just perform at halftime?
Yeah, but we also had to play for every single time. We had there was a touchdown. We'd have to play the Wildcat first down.
You must be a football expert. I mean, Allison, you were a pom-pom girl, I'm guessing too. That makes you a football expert,
right?
Chris, we know you were the water boy. It's okay.
Now
here. But water boys are getting $6 or $1 million contracts. Did you see that headline?
No, I didn't. You mean other than Adam Sandler?
Yes, hold on.
Adam Sandler probably got $6 million to be the water boy, but I've never seen a water boy getting $6 million. So,
hold on. There was a whole, he made a contract with some water company. So I'm going to find that and put it in the show notes, okay?
You find that. And Danny, if you want to draft him in the the Maverick Sports App Fantasy Football League, we will let you take the first pick and you can take him, okay?
No, let me put it this way. Wait, I didn't answer your question, Chris. I will tell you this. I'm hoping to know who is who in the football league. Because I know the teams, but I don't know the players.
Well, you might want to mute it when Allison's talking, but that's fine. But you gain some advice here. So let's talk about draft strategy, because I'm sure you've all had a lot of time to think about it. I think our draft is going to, by the way, be next Thursday. So a week from today, we will be drafting. So Allison, talk a little bit about your must-haves as you're looking at first-round picks. And again, now we're two games into preseason, so might have changed 2 games in. Probably not. We haven't seen many starters play, but. So talk a little bit about who some of your must-haves are for your first round.
Well, you're all probably going to steal all of my... This probably isn't really great to share because we'd be steal all my picks.
Promise
you better believe it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Unless you're drafting the water boy, I think we're good.
Danny's going to take all of mine because he doesn't know players. So I'm going with a running back first. That's my first. That's going to be my first pick.
No, you do realize we're point per reception. We're a PPR league, so
You're
that means the
league.
Value of the receiver. Do you not look at the league rules?
No one told me that.
But I shouldn't have told you. Go ahead, draft a running back.
That changes. So now I'm going to pick a wide receiver.
Oh my gosh. Okay, who are you picking? Who are some of your must-haves?
Devontae Smith. For sure.
Who's Devontae Smith? Oh, for Philadelphia?
For Philadelphia.
Even though he doesn't have a quarterback?
He's with Jalen Hurts.
Like I said, even though he didn't have a quarterback?
Back with Jalen Hurts from college. They're going to rekindle that.
Oh, my gosh. Are we talking SEC stuff again?
Of course.
Hey, you know what? It's getting kind of hot in here. I just want to lose my jacket real quick.
What is on your shirt right now, Chris?
This is so funny.
So it's getting a little warm in here.
He thinks he's so funny.
Yeah. Okay. So you were talking about SEC, huh? Let me just make sure.
I'm talking about See,
Let
so
me
I'm
make
pretty,
sure everybody gets to see that.
I'm pretty sure you have a child
this?
small on. What does that other's shoulder say?
OSU sucks.
I cannot wait.
And Notre Dame
till
#1.
The first week of college football. I can't wait for it.
So wide receiver, you said Devontae Smith. The only Devontae I'm picking in the first round is Devontae Adams. Wrong team, wrong conference, by the way. So, yes, Devontae Adams with the Raiders. So, going to have a big year this year. He's amazing. And yes, Aaron Rodgers was great, but Carr will do fine. They're hooking up back. By the way, they played together in college, too. Devontae Adams and Derek Carr.
I'm not going against the Devontae Adams pick. I'm just saying my first pick is going to be Devontae Smith.
I'll tell you what. We are going to give both of you first and second pick in the first round. If, Danny, you pick the water boy, Allison will let you pick Devontae Smith in the first. Devontae Smith won't go first round in any drafts, by the way.
If I'm going to go first, I'm going to go what Google tells me, which is Jonathan Taylor.
No matter where I am in the first round, if Jonathan Taylor's available, I'm going to pick him because he's going to be a beast again this year, and I think he's going to be better than last year because he actually has a quarterback this year, and that's going to take a little bit of pressure off Jonathan Taylor. Last year they were lining up 7 in the box every time against Jonathan Taylor because they had no quarterback. So I agree with you, Danny. I think Jonathan Taylor is a great pick. After the water boy, I think Jonathan Taylor would be a great pick for you in the first round.
So have you heard of Liquid Death, which is like a water?
Yeah.
It's
water.
Liquid Death. So rather than getting involved with professional sports, Liquid Death typically has more of a pungent for other things, right? So they signed the Colts water boy to a year-long $100,000 sponsorship deal that includes a cameo in Liquid Death's latest attempt at reimagining how the healthiest beverage in the world is marketed.
What's this? $6 million? It was $6 million earlier. You said now it's $100,000.
It was on Twitter.
Yeah, Liquid Death is good. I've had it. It's really good. It's good water, but it's water.
Water is water.
It's water in a can, which is kind of odd to me too, by the way. So I don't know.
That weirds me out.
Yeah, it's water in a can.
First of all, I love that they picked a Colts water boy.
Yeah, no kidding.
I added a link to, you guys can check out the link in the chat, but we'll leave it in the show notes for everybody who is watching and listening. You guys can also read up on this. This is via the drum. So
on this Liquid Death, Danny.
I mean, hey, look, I'm open to always new sponsors.
I'll drink a Liquid Death while I'm going through this show for sure.
While you're
wash
doing
down
the show?
some of these bad picks that you guys are making. So,
yeah,
Hey,
right.
whatever. I said Jonathan Taylor. If I was going first, I would go for Jonathan Taylor, and you agree with me. I didn't
agree
do
with
that
you.
bad.
I did agree with you. So Josh Allen and Justin Herbert are my value picks. I think you can pick them up in the second, third round. They're somebody I think both of them. Josh Allen, some fool will probably pick him in the first round, which is fine. But I don't. There's not many quarterbacks. Even Patrick Mahomes, I won't draft in the first round, so who I think is not going to have as good of a year. Austin Eckler is the player that I will take in the first round, probably middle back of the first round, but I think the Chargers are going to have a huge year this year, and I think his stats are going to be off the hook. This year.
Can you also say why you want to pick him? Why you're obsessed with him this year?
I don't know. Why? He's not Notre Dame?
Wasn't it his hair?
No, that's Justin Herbert. He's got the
that's Justin Herbert.
He's got the blonde locks. Yeah. I definitely would love to have hair like that. So let's talk a little bit about players to stay away from. So other than the water boy, Allison. So who's on your list right now to stay away from? Who you think is overrated?
Well, I don't know if he's necessarily overrated, but stay away from mine is Trevor Lawrence.
I don't know that anybody's going to draft him to begin with. I don't think it was. Urban Meyer was a train wreck, but I still think Trevor Lawrence is going to be one of those guys. Who was the guy that came to the Raiders from Ohio State or LSU? He was the LSU quarterback that was a flop.
From
LSU. The Raiders drafted him. Oh, yeah. He was the first-round draft pick. I remember they were talking about him throwing 70 yards from his knees and big guy, big, tall guy. I don't remember his name. But he was a flop.
He was a quarterback.
I know,
Shocking.
shocker. Yeah. All right, so you think Trevor Lawrence is to stay away from?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, Carson Wentz. stay away from us.
What do you think about Michael Thomas this year, coming back after pretty much not playing for a year and a half? And he's not caught a pass since Drew Brees left either.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think you can come back to the NFL and be like top notch. That's for a year and a half. That's hard. And plus, is he still down in New Orleans?
He's still in New Orleans.
And are they planning on Jameis Winston?
Jameis Winston's he's set to go. He's set to go. Yeah, he's healthy.
No.
He's ready to go.
No.
Do you think he'll be sidelined for the first? I mean, like he's probably not going to play the first couple games, right?
Jameis Winston?
No, Michael Thomas.
Oh, Michael Thomas is he's going to be. I don't think he's on the pup, so I think he's playing right out of the gates. So I think he'll be fine. Christian McCaffrey, kind of a popular first round pick that a lot of people end up regretting they picked him because midway through the year, the last 2 years have been tough for him. So, Mike, stay away from is any Patriot right now. Anybody with a Patriot uniform. Mike Patricia, who, by the way, I'll just say this, he was the head coach of the Lions last year. And prior to that, he was a defensive coordinator. He's calling the plays right now in New England from what I'm seeing, or really nobody's calling them. And Mac Jones is not gelling with everything, so there's a lot of dysfunction there. Any Patriot, I would stay away from this year. That's kind of my one thing that I'm kind of going in the draft with. I think everybody else is open. I don't like Kyler Murray either. Anybody that's my height playing quarterback in the NFL is probably not going to make it. So,
well, anybody that had to have in their contract, they had to study, I think you should probably stay away from.
I mean, I will see. I'll be honest. So I served in a mission for my church in New England area. So I went to the stadium. It was a really awesome stadium. I loved the community around it. So that does hurt me to not be able to that you say, yeah, stay away from the Patriots.
Danny,
because,
draft Patriots. I think you should go with your heart on this one.
No, Chris, my only goal in this fantasy football is to try to screw you over in some fashion throughout the entire season.
Well, from what I'm hearing so far, I think I'm going to be pretty safe. So
I don't know. Danny has Google on his side.
Danny definitely has Google on his side for sure. So, I mean, I use AOL for everything I do. So I don't know if that makes sense or not. If you're smart.
No, I know, bro. I know you use AOL. I've seen you back there.
Let's talk sleepers. So, Danny. So, other than some of the people you've already discussed, let's talk about some of the sleeper picks.
Chris, I have no idea. I'm going to be doing my research from this point on. Every night, I'm going to be doing my research to figure out what's happening, so that when I come to next week's draft pick, I'm going to come out of left field. I'm going to be ready to go, and you're going to be like, I think I underestimated Danny, and I'm going to be like, damn right.
So have you picked a team name yet, Rubio?
Yeah, I think I'm El Toro Locos or El Toro Loco.
You've actually already signed up, Alice. I didn't see you signed up in the system.
No, because I can't remember my ESPN password.
You can reset that, Allison.
I know. I haven't had time.
All right. What?
Listen, wait. If we're going to get another sponsor, we should get another sponsor right here you should have a password manager. So that helps you remember all your passwords and make them secure.
LastPass, by the way, that's who I use. So I don't know if they're good or not.
Dashlane's also a good one.
So I don't know any of my passwords. So let's talk two things. Your team name, we want to know that, but we want to know some of your sleeper picks.
I don't know my team name. What should my team name be?
Could we come up with a team name for you?
I don't know. Maybe Danny can, not you.
Hold on. Let's see if a team name generator. Let's go with there.
There's no good one. But I want to hear your opinion on a sleeper. Maybe could be a sleeper. Is Juju in Kansas City this year?
Juju in Kansas City. Maybe. Yeah.
Like his little bit of a, do we call it a comeback year? But kind of, he's with a new organization. He's with a new quarterback. I don't know.
I stay away from Juju after he decommitted from Notre Dame and went to USC about 5-6 years ago.
Thanks.
He was originally committed to Notre Dame, but he decommitted and ended up going to the Trojans, which ended up being a mistake because they sucked. The Trojans did. But I think with Tyreek Hill gone, I think Juju will be a stud there. I mean, you got Travis Kelce and who's the other guy, the tall guy, receiver, I forget his name. But I think Juju will have a big year for them for sure, and I think leaving Pittsburgh was the right. I mean, there's no quarterback in Pittsburgh.
The best. Yeah, it was probably the best for him.
They're saying Mitchell Trubisky is in line to be the quarterback in Pittsburgh right now. So, which is, we saw how Trubisky worked in Chicago. I like Danny. This is a little tip for you. Jerry Jeudy in Denver. By the way, I think he played for Alabama, Allison. So I will go against my SEC.
Going against your T-shirt.
But I think Jerry Jeudy, last year was he his second year? He got injured part of the year, but they had no quarterback in Denver. And I think Russell Wilson is going to bring a lot to the Denver franchise this year. And I think Denver's going to have a really big year this year. And then it's time. I mean, they haven't done anything since they won the Super Bowl. The other one, I like Hunter.
What about Giovanni Bernard from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I thought he died of old age.
Stop.
No, is he like 45, 50? I think he's my age.
Let's find out. Let's know.
He's got
Quarterback.
Giovanni Bernard, I think, hasn't been good since he was with the Bengals in like 2012. So he's got to be like 33, 34, 35, which is ancient in running back terms. Hey, Danny, you go with him. I think he'd be a great second-round pick, Giovanni Bernard.
This guy. I'm going to make sure.
Do you know how bad I hope Danny beats Chris?
Oh, it's not going to happen.
It would be one of the greatest joys of my life.
I'm going to call in some favors from some homies and be like, guys, this is my first year doing fantasy football. I need all the help to beat this fool. And I'm going to see how it goes. That's why I decided to join. I was like, you know what? Why not?
That's cool.
But next up, we'll have to do a fantasy soccer league, an actual fantasy football league.
Does that mean I have to watch it?
Yes, every game.
Oh my gosh. How do you do fantasy football with stats in games that end in 0-0 ties? I don't even understand how that's even exciting. There are no stats. Nobody scored a point this week on this team, so it's a 0-0 tie.
How does it work?
I had 7 players playing and I scored 0 points. Boy, that's action-packed.
Who wins?
Nobody wins. The concession stand wins because you drink, you're so bored. Back to football, American football. So I think Lamar Jackson he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He said if he does not get a contract done by the time the season starts, he's not going to negotiate through the season, which means he will play pissed off the entire year, which could be good or bad. But I think people are overlooking Lamar Jackson. He's not coming up really in any, people aren't saying you got to have him. I think he's still in the prime of his career. And he's in the prime of his career, especially if he's in a contract year where he's going to become a free agent. And he's got a great situation. He's making $23 million a year. So he can negotiate, a lot from that. And he's already making bank, which a lot of people coming off their rookie contracts aren't making that kind of money.
Let's pause, because everyone in the NFL is making, they're sitting pretty.
Not on your rookie contract. Not on your rookie contract.
No, your rookie contracts aren't, but they're still.
He's coming off his rookie contract, $23 million a year right now, this year.
But here's my thing with Lamar Jackson, is he came in different than most quarterbacks in the league. So that's why he had standout 1-2 year. But now I think they figured him out. I don't think he's not.
Fourth most. I think he had the 4th most fantasy football points last year. Wouldn't say it's figuring somebody out.
Because he just runs everywhere.
Well, he also throws the ball. He's got Mark Andrews as a tight end that's just a total stud. So I don't know. If he's available in the 2nd, 3rd round, I'm probably going to pick him up. So the other one, I think Derek Carr, 5th, 6th round is going to be probably a good pickup if you need a starting quarterback and you don't want to. If you want to go heavy on wide receivers or running backs in the first couple rounds, I usually do. And I think Derek Carr in the 5th, 6th round would be fine from that standpoint. So, Allen Robinson, Hunter Renfrow, probably 2nd, 3rd round guys, but I think they're going to have big years. Playing out in LA, I think they'll be studs this year, and I think they're definitely worthwhile. Since you think Cooper Kupp is way overrated, Allison, so
I never said he was overrated. I'm just saying, do people figure him out?
Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I watched the Super Bowl, but I'm just saying
that team had 2 weeks to study film on Cooper Kupp, and look what he did to them. He destroyed them, like he did every team.
But two, he did destroy like every team. And two, he has Matthew Stafford throwing to him, which, by the way, Matthew Stafford does not get enough credit.
Well, that's because he played for the Lions.
Well, so see, but Matthew Stafford last year, according to last year's rankings, he brought in 346.8 points versus Cooper Kupp, who brought in 294 points.
Wow.
But what was the number 2 wide receiver, Mr. Rubio?
The number 2 wide receiver.
And where does Matthew Stafford rank compared to the other quarterbacks? See, that's, you know what?
Well, hey, that's fair. That's fair. So Cooper Kupp did come in first for the wide receiver with the 294 points.
By landslides over the number 2. I don't know if anybody's within 40, 50 points of him.
He by 32 points. Chris, that's not a landslide. 32 points is not a landslide.
It's like 13% more than anybody else. So
I'm just saying.
All right.
So Cooper Kupp played one more game more than Debo last year.
There were no fantasy football. Well, Debo probably got injured or was on suspension for like PEDs or something like that. Who knows? So he played it. Debo was Dallas. No, Debo Samuel's San Francisco 49ers.
San Francisco, yep.
He got pissed off and probably got his feelings hurt and sat out a game or two.
Yeah.
So let's talk quickly. Let's go to some of the best college games. As you're betting on, as you're looking at some early games, if you download the Maverick Sports app and you look at the lines for week 1, any game stand out to you, Allison? Because there's one game that stands out to me.
Really? That surprises me. I don't know. Not necessarily week 1. When you get into week 3 and 4, it's going to be a little bit more fun because you get into conference play.
What do you think about the AM Alabama game this year? With everything that happened in the offseason?
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Alabama has Bryce Young, Will Anderson Jr., and then that other wide receiver. Like, I just don't know who can beat them. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody will, like Auburn or Mississippi State. So it happens every year at Alabama.
But not every year, let's be honest.
Well, not every year, but it definitely happens to them because they overlook somebody. I remember the year what Auburn beat them, the one year that just was like last game of the year, which is a huge upset.
The kick 6 game?
That's exactly right. Yeah. So I like week 1. Well, of course, you know, I do like Notre Dame week 1. I like Notre Dame, and I was trying to see the line, but I think the line's 14.5, which is a lot for a team that's going to have a top 10 defense this year in Notre Dame. They replaced Kyle Hamilton, their all-world safety, with Brandon. He was top 10 pick in the NFL draft, but they replaced him with an All-American transfer, Brandon Joseph from Northwestern, who came in, and from what I'm hearing, is they've not skipped a beat whatsoever. The other game I like, I think a sleeper team this year, and I'd watch them early on in the year with lines, is Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to be sneaky good. They're coming off a lot of controversy. They had a lot of things going on. The coach was fired, I believe, last year, the end of the year, and then just a lot of stuff happened there. But I think they're going to be pretty good. And I think early on the odds makers are not going to give them enough credit. So I think Tennessee is a good one to watch as the year goes on. So
Tennessee's a little scary as an SEC fan. They're a little scary for the conference, but also I'm pretty sure that like every win will be taken from them because I'm sure they're going to have some serious NCAA violations. So
I think they've already cleared. And by the way, news just broke today. Deshaun Watson is suspended 11 games. 11 games now. So here's the question. Do you draft him and sit him on your bench in a bench role, holding out till the end of the year when you're going to need him for the playoffs? That's the question.
Absolutely not.
And if you're the Browns, let's say they're 4-7 by the time game 12 comes around, do you sit him and not risk injuring him, or do you play him? That's the thing you got to risk if you're going to draft him and sit him on the bench.
The Browns, they'll end up playing him because they're going to have like no choice.
What they're saying, they're going to go after maybe Jimmy G now. So if Jimmy G's there, having a good year, I'm just saying.
Poor Jimmy G. That would be awful to get stuck with the Browns.
I was going to look up.
Danny's looking it up.
Well, it's because I want to know. I'm like, I don't know this stuff, right? I'm not. Playtime. Last year I was, doing nail polish with my 5-year-old when football was happening. Okay.
Toes or fingers, Danny?
It was toes.
Toes. Even I don't want to imagine that. I don't even want to picture that. But
it was her toes, not my toes, Chris.
That's no excuse. That's no excuse because my husband has brainwashed my daughter into getting excited for football season because when her birthday comes, that's when football season is.
Oh, yeah.
Don't think that's brainwashed. I think that's really good early childhood education, I think. But which doesn't happen often. Doesn't happen often in Kentucky, by the way.
I knew that was coming.
All right, so let's skip back to the pros because I think we covered college. So let's just talk AFC, NFC. Who's in the finals of the ASU championship game? Who's in the finals of the NFC game? And who do you like winning those?
I don't know finals, but of each. But I see the Bills coming out of AFC.
Playing who? Playing who in the AFC finals?
I don't know. Broncos, maybe.
I like that conference. I think Broncos are going to get beat by the Chargers, though, in the end.
According to both Katie and Jenna brought up the Broncos in their Maverick Minute-ish, where they give lines every week on how things are going. They both said that they're hot. It's a favorite.
I like the Broncos, by the way, week 1. If you're in the Maverick Sports app, they're favored by, I think, 3 or 4, which I agree with Katie Wingy that they're not favored enough because they're playing Seattle, who, by the way, Russell Wilson obviously played for, and who knows who I think I saw Geno Smith might be the starting quarterback for Seattle. Oh, yeah. I mean, he's the same age as Giovanni Bernard. I mean, they're on the all-century team, and not because they're the best 100, because they both are about 100 years old. So, but that's what I'm seeing. Geno Smith may be the quarterback there, which is just scary if that's the case.
Yeah, that line you gotta take that.
Denver's gonna be a good pick early the first couple of games. So my AFC, I like the Bills, I like the Chargers in the AFC title. I mean, obviously it'll depend on how the seeds lay out and if they play each other leading up to that. But I like this in the NFC. We'll skip the NFC real quick. It's tough to go against the Rams being back in the NFC Championship game. I mean, they've got pretty much they're rolling everybody back there. I think, I'm not going to go with the Bucs. I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to say go Cheeseheads. And I think as much as Aaron Rodgers is a prima donna and he'll whip the wide receivers into shape, but I think it's his year because I think he knows he's not going to have many years left. So I like the Pack against the Rams in the NFC Championship game.
My only thing about the Packers is they're a lot like Georgia. They always get close, but then they can never finish it off.
They've won the Super Bowl a couple times.
Yeah, they have. Okay, exactly. Georgia's also won the national championship, but they always get right there and then they can't finish it.
I mean, the quarterback of Georgia last year, I cannot believe he actually won a national championship. I mean, he looks like he's playing on a junior high squad. That's about how big he is. So unbelievable they pulled that off. It was a great win. Good for him. I mean, look at me. I mean, I like the underdog, so I'm definitely the Rudy Rudiger of every sport I'm in. I'm definitely that guy. But so I like the Pack and the Rams. I like the Rams coming out. I'm going to say Rams versus the Chargers. I'm not going to go with the Bills. So I'm going to keep it all West Coast. This is how we do it on the West Coast, yeah. Or something like this. I don't know. Danny, we have to come up with this.
Oh, my goodness. Chris, you're going to get
West
shot.
Coast. I'm not sure what I do. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. Maybe we can edit that one out, Danny. But but I'm gonna stay in LA. It's going to be an all LA Super Bowl. And I like the Chargers to win it all this year. So Chargers over the Rams. You heard it here. If you are in the Maverick Sports app now, go ahead and put your money on the Chargers. I guarantee you're going to win. Or I can't guarantee you're going to win. But I think it's a good bet right now. So
my heart says the Rams, but it's real hard to win 2 years in a row.
Or 1 year. Look at the Bills. They were there 4 years and runner-up 4 years straight. So, Danny, I know, have you Googled who do you think is going to win yet on the Super Bowl or not? I'm sure we gave you time to prep and research. So,
yeah, you guys gave me 3 seconds in the sense of this show. Because I'm filling in for Rayhan, who should be here next week.
Yeah, you guys are about the same height, by the way. I think you might have Rayhan by an inch or two, to be honest with you. I really think you do, actually. So, I don't know.
That's
it's close.
cool. I don't even care.
It's close.
I think that I'm taller than all of you all.
Yeah, you probably are. Definitely a bigger feet.
Oh, there we go.
I don't know. I'm just going to like spitball here. I do think it'd be really interesting to see the Bills in the Super Bowl. I don't know about any of the other conferences, so next time I'm on the show, I will be way more prepared for you.
So, Danny, are the Bills in the AFC or the NFC? I'm just asking for a friend.
No.
That's not a fair question because I don't even know that.
They're the AFC.
I don't know those things, Chris.
All right. So you got the Bills against who?
Chargers.
Chargers are AFC 2, so they both can't be in the Super Bowl unless realignment happens halfway through the year. We'll give you that.
Okay.
It's an option. Yeah, just look it up.
Bills, Rams.
And you think the Rams repeat? You said.
I don't think it. I don't know. It's a hard one this year. I'm going with the Rams.
Because I'm not sure. I'm gonna double that on Bills versus Rams because I do like from the messed up podcast that we were supposed to have out last week with Rayhan. He was touting the Bills doing feel confident, so I'm gonna go with following him, and then
that's just because he went to one game.
He had just gotten back from Buffalo, and he had like chicken wings all weekend long, and he was sold on that. I think he went to Niagara Falls, and who knows what inspired Rayhan. So he might have gone over in a barrel. You never know with Rayhan, but he was pretty fired up about the city of Buffalo. So
he was.
You know what, Danny? Danny, going to the Maverick Sports app today. Place your bet on the Bills then. I think it's not a bad pick. I think they're probably one of the favorites. So you're probably not going to get. Yeah, I'm sure they are. I think everybody's picking the Bills. So, not a bad pick at all. I think Bills against Chargers, Bills against Rams. I think either one of Bills can't play the Chargers because they're AFC, but Bills against Rams is probably a good pick.
But that could be the AFC Championship.
Who's the one team, Allison, that you think nobody's talking about that could surprise everybody?
Well, there's a lot of teams that nobody's really talking about because they either don't have quarterbacks or
the one that has a realistic chance. So don't tell me Seattle, don't tell me San Francisco.
I'm gonna say this. I think people are still talking about them, but my biggest thing is the Bucks. Can Tom Brady do it again? I'm pretty sure he has bought the Fountain of Youth with all the money, but can he do it again? I think is the big question out there. And then, how many more times is he going to try?
I think this is it. This is it. He's done.
You think so?
Well, he's already.
He's 45, handing off to a 45-year-old Giovanni Bernard at running back. So it's yeah.
Maybe the guys who are 100 years old in the football league, they're gonna team up together and make it.
Yeah, it's possible.
He's already taken 2 weeks off here in the preseason, which you're never off in the NFL when you're
Personal reasons, yeah.
So I'm just really curious. Is it possible for him could he do it again, make a run at it one final time, retire for good?
What about Buccaneers versus Bills?
I think Rayhan did pick that, but so yeah.
Picked it.
I think he did. I think the team, yes, the Maverick Sports app is only in Denver, Colorado. And I think the Broncos could be kind of a scary good team. I think they've got a really good defense. I think they have great receivers, although they lost somebody in the last couple of weeks for the season. But I think they're going to surprise. And there is no better sports town than Denver. So, and they're coming off the high of a great Avs win in the Stanley Cup. The Nuggets had a good year despite, Jamal Murray being out. So, that city rallies around their teams. And there's something to be said when you've got a fan base that's that passionate and that loud in the stadium. And I've been to Broncos games, man, they are loud in there. It is crazy. But I think the Broncos could surprise. I think they get in 11 and there's 17 games this year, right? I think they get in 11-6.
So I was going to ask, what was your picks for what was your picks?
I picked. Remember all West Coast.
Picking all LA, Chargers, Rams.
Chargers, Rams. I just think the Broncos could be the one that surprises it. Every year, there's a team that surprises everybody.
Is it a surprise?
Is it a surprise? Broncos a surprise?
Yeah. Do you think it's truly a surprise?
People are picking them to be 500 this year.
Really?
Be better. Yeah, I think they'll be better than that.
They'll be better than 500. I believe that. I don't know if they'll go as far as Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford did it last year. Again, I have a love affair with Matthew Stafford, apparently. But he did it.
Cool.
Georgia.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Duh. So Matthew Stafford was able to do it first year with a team, take them to the Super Bowl win. I don't know. That doesn't happen often. So will Russell Wilson be able to do that? I don't think so, but they'll be over 500 for sure.
The Broncos were 7-10 last year, so let me look and tell you what they're projecting them to do win-wise. I mean, everything I've seen is projected them to be somewhat 500. I mean, I'm looking right now and
no.
Yeah, no. This is I'm seeing a lot of 500 is what they're projecting them to be. So,
did you say Jerry Jeudy was one of your sleepers?
Yes, Jerry Judy's a sleeper.
So, I mean, all I'm saying is that it could be that Broncos are the surprise team this year.
I think they will be. I think the Broncos are the team. Hey, guys, we got to wrap it up. But all good stuff, Danny. I can't wait to the draft next week and to see how you surprise us. And Allison, I'm counting on you drafting every single player from the SEC conference. So we expect nothing other. And Danny, if you want to draft the Waterboy first, that's great. And you can have Devonta Smith first, Allison. I'll put you guys 1 and 2 in the first round of the draft, and if you guys can take them off the board. But hey, guys, just want to go ahead, Danny.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I hope. I just am like, if you're gonna put me there, I hope that I get somebody that you wanted, and we go from there.
The thing about the draft, Danny, is you have to always have an alternate pick in every round to say, if this guy's here, I'm taking this. It really doesn't matter who you pick, Danny. I'm still going to win. So, but we're going to wrap it up. So thank you to Maverick Sports App for sponsorship. And if I didn't mention, download the Maverick Sports App today to get up to $300 credit towards your first deposit. So have a good one, guys. We will talk to you next week. And if you're out there, good luck in your drafts, guys. Thank you.